We've been in counseling for over a year and it's not working. Well, I gotta tell you, I used to be a divorce mediator. So it's 20 years ago, but I used to get their failures. And trust me, I made a lot of money because they have nothing but failures. Now, I don't have anything against marriage counselors. They're good people for the most part. They truly are. They truly want to help, but they don't know. I'm not wanting to digress, to start off by digressing, but I want you to understand something. They call psychology a science, but it's a soft science. And I've spoken to my friends who are psychologists. Some of them work for the Marriage Foundation now. And when I bring certain things up, they go, well, yes, it's an evolving science. Well, I'm here to tell you that science doesn't evolve in certain ways. You have a theory, you test it, it either works or it doesn't. That's what science is all about. Gravity doesn't sometimes not work. You know, one of the most interesting premises that they have, and they still rely on, was Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I like to point this out to the therapists who I speak with, because not to challenge them and make them feel bad, but to expose to them core problems with counseling, because it's based on principles that aren't founded in truth. So Maslow's premise is that we have this hierarchy of needs, which sounds good. Of course we have a hierarchy of needs. And with the research that I've done and that I help couples with, I explain the principles that I rely upon and show how it's airtight. But when you take a look at Maslow's, it's not airtight. He doesn't even come back to why we have a hierarchy of needs, which I explain, and I'm going to explain to you now. It's very simple. You see, we're souls. I'm not doing a religious number on you. We are souls. We have a body, but you are not the body. Even when you talk about you hurt your finger, you go, oh, I hurt my finger. My finger. It's a possession. My head hurts. It's my head. It's not me. Oh, I'm battling these emotions. Yes, they're in the mind. You have a mind. You're not the mind. You're a soul. You have a body and you have a mind. So the hierarchy of needs that Maslow comes up with, and he only alludes to the soul, the hierarchy of needs is based on the bodily needs primarily. He doesn't say, and we're souls, and a soul is this, and so therefore we also have these needs. You need to understand, marriage is an amazing, in a way, simple thing. Too many parts to call it simple. It's complex. But there is a hierarchy of needs. So let's put aside the body's hierarchy of needs, which are all based on survival, and let's talk about the needs of the soul, which will explain to you very simply why counseling for a year won't get you anywhere. Because until you get to the root of who you are and what will work for you, you won't know what will work for your marriage. So I'm going to ask you, why did you get married? And then I'm going to tell you why you got married. You got married to be happier. Well, that's a spiritual principle. Happiness isn't a material principle based on the body. It's based on a perception, but a spiritual perception, because as a soul, you are joy itself. but we become confused because of the demands of the body that it's imposing on. Okay, it's getting a little complicated. So you got married to be happier. That's simple. So if you've been in counseling for over a year, or 6 months, or 3 months, or 2 years, how many times has your counselor said, are you happy? What are you doing to be happy? Do you know what causes happiness? No. Their entire approach is negative. They start with, okay, what's going on? What's wrong? What can we do to improve things based on what's wrong? I don't do it that way. I say, where is happiness? What causes happiness, and what is the happiness you're really seeking in marriage? Very simple. The reason you got married, you'll tell me, is you fell in love. It doesn't get more spiritual than that. Love is spiritual. I'm going to make it even more clear. Unconditional love is the highest standard of existence. Your soul is unconditional love. Unless you learn how to connect your soul to your spouse's soul, and then do those things that exposes the love that you already are, how are you going to become happier? Just by getting rid of the negative stuff? No, that's baby stuff. You got to get rid of the negative stuff. You can learn how to do that. I've laid it all out. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. You could get rid of the negative stuff. You could stop arguing. You could stop being critical. Stop condemning. But you really want to go for the purity, the unconditional love. That's where it's at. So counseling doesn't address that. It's too busy analyzing things. It's too busy being theoretical without having concrete basics. You got to get out of counseling. You got to get the information that is necessary. Now, I'll be very candid with you. We have different levels. We've broken it down. We've broken it down at the Marriage Foundation. And there's two basic levels. There's a level of you really just need a little guidance, you need education, and bam, your marriage will be amazing. You'll utilize what you learn because it's all common sense. You'll utilize it. You'll start to see it because I lay it all out. And I do that in a couple of books, either Lessons for a Happy Marriage or one that's a little more sophisticated because I used it to train therapists. Yes, there's plenty of good therapists. And that's called Breaking the Cycle. And that's fine if your marriage isn't producing what it should be producing. But sometimes we reach a point where it's a breaking point and your marriage is just sliding towards a divorce and you can't seem to get it out of your head that this marriage is done and it's only a matter of time. In those cases, and it's really the reason why we started the Marriage Foundation, in those cases, those are the tough cases, the cases that marriage counseling never helps. And we always help it, even to the point of where the husband has moved out, or the wife has called it quits, or the husband has cheated on his wife. In those cases, you need to get the course that we have. We have two, one for men and one for women. And what do I do in the course? Why is that so critical? Because it's more than education that you need. You need to become centered. You need to get your balance back. You need to get your wits about you. And why don't you have that in those cases? Because there's so much tension. There's so much confusion. And what does it boil down to? It boils down to getting the mind under control. Truly. Dealing with anger, dealing with emotions, fear, hostilities, inner stuff. And you have to do that. And there is no way around it. I've tried. There's no way around it. So if your marriage is on the verge, you've got to get one of the courses. Or if both of you are into it, you get both of the courses. I wish marriage counseling worked. I truly do. But it does not. And it's not because marriage counselors are bad people. They're good people for the most part. And I mean vastly for the most part. But the teachings that they rely upon are mostly wrong. You ask any therapist now about Freud. Do all of the things that he taught hold true still? They'll tell you no. Why not? All of the principles that I've put together are universal. They never fail. Things that some of them won't even agree with, like the fact that you are a soul. To me, it's common sense. Early on, I worked with some people, and, well, I don't believe in God. I said, okay, I don't care whether you believe in God or not. Instead of using the term soul, let's use the term consciousness. Are you a consciousness? Well, yeah, I guess so. Good. You're a consciousness. Independent. Look, if you lose an arm, God forbid, you're not a less of a consciousness. That kind of proves you are a consciousness who has a body, who has a mind. Your marriage is an opportunity for the kind of love and joy that is unimaginable to most people in the world. So you could say my approach is New Age. It would help if I had long hair, right? But it's eternal. It's deep stuff. But what's most important is that the results are that your marriage will be happier every single day of your life. The love that you feel will be so deep that you can't wait to see your spouse again. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. And blessings to you, blessings to your spouse, blessings to your therapist, blessings to your family. God bless. Take care. And I hope you like this video. I'm here for you. And the foundation, the Marriage Foundation, is here for you.